Hello and welcome to my new filming space. I have spent a couple of days changing everything about, so I now have a less distracting area to film in. Please excuse what I'm wearing. I'm teaching today, so I've got on my Alice in Wonderland top, as that's what I'm teaching the kids at the moment. They're creating a play, it's really cool. And that's why I'm dressed a bit different. I wanted to start a series called the Talk series. It comes off the back of kind of, sometimes I felt like other people out there experience life in a way that sometimes I can't talk about to other people, and having a platform online where I can hear those thoughts and feelings really helps. So I thought I would also spout my life experience to see if it helps anyone out there. If it doesn't, that's absolutely fine. If it does, that's perfect. And well, I just hope that maybe a couple people will find some comfort in what I'm going to say. So grab a coffee or a tea, grab a snuggly blanket or a snuggly animal. So I'm going to go graduation stitch. And yeah, let's cozy up. Okay, so first of all, please excuse my mic quality at the minute. I need to get a mic adapter for my GoPro, so I currently don't have a microphone on, so I apologise if it's a bit jumpy. I'm going to try and edit it afterwards. But I really just wanted to start this. I've been meaning to this video for a few weeks, and I think it's quite important, knowing a few people have just started uni. So congratulations to those that are starting uni, huge well done. I know it's a lot of hard work. I'm currently going to open days with my own sister, so yeah, it's a lot. So well done, first and foremost. I didn't have a straightforward uni experience. I went straight to uni from my A-levels. I did art, photography and textiles at A-level. I got fairly standard grades. I got BBC, I believe, going back a bit now. So yeah, fairly standard to get in. I met all my requirements, and I got to go to, my goodness, I'm gonna get some water and then I'll be back. Okay. I said water and then I went and got coffee. So that sums up my life, really. Okay, where were we? Where were we, Stitch? Right. Okay, so sorry about that. Yeah, so I got BBC, which meant that generally everywhere I applied to, it was like a fairly decent grade at the time. I don't know if it's useful for me to tell you where I applied to. I'm going to anyway. So I'd applied to Bath University to do photography. I'd applied to Nottingham-Trent to do photography. I'd applied to Falmouth University to do fashion photography. I'd also applied to Falmouth University to do photography. And I cannot remember what my final choice was. My top choice was Falmouth University Fashion. Second choice, Falmouth University Photography. Third choice, I believe, was Bath Photography. Fourth choice was Nottingham-Trent, and I genuinely can't remember my last choice. So that's how it went. I went to interviews, I showed my portfolio. At the time, it was my absolute dream to be a fashion photographer. It's all I dreamt about. And Falmouth University was the top university for that in the UK. So yeah, they're really good with leading practice on that. And I remember waiting for my results, and I was so nervous, and it was stupid o'clock in the morning. I actually got my results released, I think it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. Something silly. And I screamed the house down. I ran downstairs, and I got into fashion photography at Falmouth, and my dreams absolutely come true. So I'm from Nottingham, which is in the Midlands, the UK, and Falmouth is down in Cornwall. It's about a 5-hour drive from here. I wasn't allowed to take my car, so it was a 9.5-hour train journey, plus a gap in between, because I had to go to London, go from St Pancras, from Nottingham to St Pancras, then I had to walk over to, I believe it was Paddington Station, can't remember, I had to walk over to another station on like the other side of London. I had to get a tube, and then get from there to Truro, and then from Truro to Falmouth. So actually I was getting 3 trains, and it was a 9.5-hour journey, not including the stop in between, so it was a long journey. By the by, I wanted to go there. It was coastal. I'd always wanted to get away, not get away from home, that sounds really harsh, but like get my independence elsewhere. Originally I wanted to go to Scotland, but the courses there just didn't quite like sit with me how the other ones wanted to do, although my 5th choice might have been up there actually, can't remember. I was with my husband at the time, obviously just boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. We'd just got engaged actually, and it was a long way. It was a big choice, but the way I saw it, I wanted to be a fashion photographer, and that was the way to do it. So that's what I did. I went to Falmouth. At the beginning, I loved it. Something to be said for the Cornwall way of life. You guys, I appreciate it very much. It's such like a, and I mean this in the biggest compliment, it's such a slow life. It's like so relaxed. It was another world in Falmouth. Like nobody rushed, and in the best way. It was lovely. I do live in a city, but I wouldn't say I'm a city girl. I'm definitely more of a countryside, beach girl. Gotta be honest. I struggle with the hustle and bustle. So, lifestyle wise, perfect. My accommodation was beautiful. I can do a Falmouth specific talk another time if people are interested. Might do one anyway. But yeah, so that was great. The course was great. My lecturer, great. Like, there was nothing wrong with the course, but something just wasn't moulding. Something wasn't feeling right. My mum I don't know if it stops, but a surrogate. So my mum has had other people's babies for them. On Surrogacy Awareness Week, I'll probably do a video on that. But at the time, my mum had a very dangerous birth, and that was kind of the cherry on top. So I wasn't moulding well. I was struggling with the 9.5 hours to get home. My grades were fine. My grades were absolutely fine. I think I was on track for, I got a 2-1 that year. I think I was on track for first. But yeah, I already wasn't moulding with the lifestyle. And then I was struggling quite a lot mentally with depression. Now, I've had depression on and off pretty much my whole life. Like my whole adult life, definitely, but quite a while. I started when I was about 13, I believe. So yeah, that's, I've been on and off with that, and it was definitely hitting me when I was in Falmouth. I think my family's very close-knit. I was really struggling being apart from my family, and I was starting to feel very aware of the fashion industry and what they stood for, and I was trying to push really hard for body positivity and things like that, and with all good intentions. My lecturers would be like, that's going to be tricky, like they don't, like some people want to budge, that's great, but a lot of people don't, and having really frank conversations around what was seen as a beauty ideal. And I'll put a picture of what I looked like at the time. I've always kind of just been who I am. I know now I kind of look very very much what you'd call like straight fashion. I've got blonde, long hair and all that sort of stuff, but it's just where I feel comfortable at the time. And back then I was struggling with femininity. I was struggling with trying to figure out who I was as a person. It was a lot. and it wasn't moulding. And I found one of my closest friends, Tess, there, and I'm forever grateful for her. But really, Tess was about the only thing keeping me there. I was really struggling. That and my like sort of course mates and the course itself. But I realised it wasn't healthy. So I realised it wasn't healthy. I was already thinking about dropping out. And then my mum had a really, really close call in one of her births, and I have never been more scared in my life. I was stuck in Falmouth. The next train I could get on, I was told it was in the middle of the night. The next train I could get on was at 5 a.m. That's the train I got. But then it was still 9.5. Well, it was about 10 hours because I think I had to hop onto the next train before I could get home. And I wouldn't go as far as to say it was a traumatic experience, but it was horrific. I'm very lucky. My mum was fine. Yeah, the whole situation wasn't pleasant, and I think I knew then, I was like, yeah, I can't do this. Personally, I can't do this. So I transferred to Nottingham Trent, which is one of my local unis, for second year. So I did an interview, got moved over for second year, and I hated it. I really, really hated it. So at Falmouth, my course, I want to say there was like between 18 and 25 people. It was very, very, very small course. I think because it was specialised. And I hadn't realised at Falmouth how lucky I was with what equipment they had, and how small the classes were. So all the lecturers knew you, and I got on really well with the tech guys, and that was always a lovely chat to the tech guys down at Falmouth. I even considered doing that as a job at one point. Yeah, it was polar opposite in Nottingham Trent. I think it's very similar to what a lot of city courses are like, and if I'd have started in first year, it probably would have been fine. But there was hundreds of people on the course. I couldn't even tell you. The lecture halls were huge. It set off my anxiety that I also have so bad, like sitting in the halls, and because I'd just appeared in second year, it was so impersonal. And there was a couple of people there, a lovely girl named Antonia who was trying to like chat to me, and people were nice, but there were that many people. There were obviously also people that were unpleasant. I didn't get on with some of the lecturers. Some of them are amazing, but there were quite a few more lecturers than what I'd had at Falmouth, and I didn't get on with some of them. That is the blatant truth. And I hated it. And it was just before COVID, I dropped out. Wasn't an easy decision. I had to pay back some tuition fees because I dropped out in second year. But I knew I couldn't do it. My grades were dropping. I was severely, severely depressed. I'd done counselling at uni, so some unis give you free counselling. It opened a can of worms, and they only allow 6 therapy sessions, and maybe only like absolute max, and I'd maybe only start to open up on like the 4th one. So then it opened up all these things that were in my head, and then that was it. You get completely cut off, and they try and refer you to somewhere else. They referred me to somewhere in Nottingham, and I was put on a waiting list, and I've never heard back. So yeah, that was a big, pretty low point in my life. Luckily, I'd moved in with Will, and that was a massive help. Will's my biggest supporter. He's my best friend in the whole world and everything to me. And having him there was amazing. Will had he gone into his internship yet? No. So Will was working as a coach at this point. My husband was an ice skater. He did figure skating for a few years as a kid, and then he went on into dance, ice dance. So and he did all that. He was went to the British Nationals and everything. So he was coaching little kids on that. And I was working at the ice centre myself, rinkside, like handing out skates and stuff like that for a bit of money. And I was not in the right place. I left my job and went and got a job as a carer. Then COVID hit. So that was a nightmare. I was a carer. I was a green carer, I was new. I was in the world of work, like a full-time work for the first time in my life. Like it was a lot. And also I was severely depressed at the time. It was a low point. To be completely honest, it was a very, very low point. And then I'm I'm someone who thinks a lot. I think a lot into everything. I'm an overthinker, but like I question everything in my life. I think it's one of the reasons why I struggle with my mental health. And as I was working as a carer and talking to the clients, because obviously, these clients they've lived a life, and I would have a lot of deep conversations with them. Some of them were companion calls, so I'd go over, make tea or coffee, and like get them a little cake or something, and just chat. And I had one client, Peggy, and I loved this woman. She was 96 at the time, so 96. So she'd be hitting her 100th birthday. When you leave as a carer, you can't contact previous clients. So I'll just put that out there. So I don't know where Peggy is right now, but and she sat down with me. She was like, "What are you doing here?" She very much took me under her wing. I'd count her as a friend. We were very similar people, and we just clicked. And she was gorgeous. And she was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Well, I'm just working. There's nothing wrong with being a carer whatsoever. The job carers do is insane." I struggled with it. It's hard. It's hard watching people be ill. You're facing mortality right in front of you. And a lot of the elderly are very lonely. And that I really struggled with that. I'd come back crying a lot at some of the things that they sort of disclosed to me and things. But like, she was like, "Why are you so young in here? Why haven't you finished your uni degree?" basically. And I was questioning it myself. I'd spent so many years focused on education. I know probably a lot of people are watching this that have been in a similar situation. You're told, do your SATs for your GCSEs, do your GCSEs for your A-levels or your college, do your A-levels or your college for uni, do your uni for your masters. Like, it's a lot, and things don't come easy for me. Academia doesn't come easy for me. I think some people used to think it did, but it didn't. I spent a lot of hours outside of school slaving away at papers and on YouTube watching teachers and lectures, and I really have to work for academia. It's not easy for me whatsoever. And with that, I decided, do you know what, maybe I should go back. I knew caring wasn't for me because I couldn't cope with it emotionally. And so absolute props to the people out there that do it. You actually are heroes, because it's really, really, really hard. And especially during COVID, when we had to be in our masks and we couldn't go near them, and it was horrible. So I worked there for a few months, and after that I'd started looking at unis again, and I always wanted to be a teacher, but because I'd only done art subjects, my choices were limited, and I didn't want to be an art teacher because I'm not that good. And I know that sounds crazy, but I didn't want to be one of those teachers that you feel you have where they're not very good at what they're teaching you. You know, I wanted to pass on something I felt confident in passing on. And I came across Derby University, and I came across their theatre arts degree. I've always loved theatre, haven't been able to watch much because it's expensive, but I love it, and film, TV, theatre, love it, absolutely adore it. I mean, hello, there's an R2-D2 sat behind you, but like, I never thought I had the qualifications to do it. When I was tossing up whether I was going to do fashion photography, things like that, I was also looking at like character design, and I've always written, I write novels. None of them have gone anywhere. They are sat on a shelf directly behind you. But I write novels, I've written a couple of scripts and things like that. So I contacted the lecturer, told him my story. You know, I've done photography degrees for the last 2 years and I've dropped out, can't do it anymore, but I've worked for a bit, I want to come back to uni, want to finish my degree. And I was talking to him and I was saying I've done theatre, I did drama at GCSE, absolutely adored it, been in a group as a kid, but they didn't offer it as an A-level, and blah blah blah. And my lecturer responded, he was amazing, and we instantly clicked, and I thought, okay, this is it, this is right. I loved everything Derby Uni stood for. It was more of a work environment, it was close by, and it just seemed right. And I applied, I did my personal statement again. I actually applied through the uni because I was applying for one course. I didn't apply through UCAS, because I think I went down a similar route as a mature student may. I can't even really fully remember, but I would try and remember if that's something people wanted to know. But I applied directly to the uni, I did a cover letter, I had to send off letters talking about why I left university. So my therapist that I'd had at my last uni, actually, I contacted her, told her the situation I was in, told her I'd dropped out because she actually at the time she suggested it'd be a good idea, because of where my head was at. She actually suggested I should probably drop out for my safety. And so I contacted her, I said I did drop out, I've got my head back together, which was, at the time that I thought that was correct. Now looking back, I don't think it was, but I thought I was. And she sent them an email, she explained that the therapy made it worse for me, I had to drop out due to mental health, nothing could be done, etc, etc. So I managed to get funding again for university, and I got an unconditional offer for the course, which was amazing. And I was so relieved and excited, and I told Peggy and she was excited for me. It was lovely. And I started at Derby, and within the first month I absolutely knew. So this was during COVID as well, so things were a bit strange, but my course mates were amazing, like so much love to you guys. They were brilliant, and the course was great. My lecturers, Phil and Amanda, amazing. I love the course, and anyone that's looking at doing theatre arts, Derby is probably not one that you'd think to do, but it's one you should do. I adored it. They work in their own theatre. It's amazing, and I clicked so well. I worked harder than I'd worked at either of the unis. I was wanting to join in. I was offered work experience every single year. I took it every single year. I worked every year. It was brilliant. absolutely brilliant. And I made some industry connections. That's how I got my teaching job that I'm doing today and tomorrow. And I adored all of it. And I came out with a first. So, with all that said, that's the story. I wanted to talk about... Whoa, crikey. I don't know what that's just done to the camera, but the sun's just appeared. Oh, she's going again. Oh, interesting. I wanted to talk about how you shouldn't put pressure on your uni experience too much. It is not the be all and end all. You can swap, you can change, you can move. I know people that changed courses. I know people that deferred a year. I know people that did what I did and stopped and went back. You know, if you are thinking about uni, it is a great experience. I do recommend it for personal growth. I recommend it for knowledge in general and for learning academia if that's what you want to do. So I do really suggest it. But do not do what I did. For the love of God, do not push yourself into this box and say, I have to do this course, I must finish it, or else. Because the best thing I did was taking a step back and going, this isn't right for me, because I found my right place, and you will find your right place. So if you're kind of sat there thinking, I'd like to go to uni, but I'm worried that like I'll go and I'll hate it, don't hold yourself back, go. If it doesn't work out, then that's fine. If it doesn't work out, you swap courses. If it doesn't work out, you can drop out definitely in the first term with no ramifications. I can't remember how far into the first year you can drop out before you have to pay back. But there is a time, like a grace period, where you can go experience it. If you hate it, you've only put your money in for accommodations and things like that. Take every opportunity you get given. I didn't at Falmouth, and I wonder a little bit if I had, it would have been better. I didn't at Trent because that was, we'll just ignore my year at Trent because for me that was awful. And just a disclaimer, if you are going to Trent, it isn't a terrible uni. It was a terrible uni for me, if that makes sense. They are leading in plenty of areas. I think they're one of the leading for fashion. I think that's why I ended up going back to Trent and not Derby in the first place. The campus is beautiful, the buildings are beautiful, and although I didn't mesh well with the tutors, they're not awful. The lecturers aren't terrible. I just didn't mesh with them. So I just want to put that out there. I do not have anything against the uni in general. I just had a horrible experience there personally. Yeah, I do wonder, because at Derby I took every opportunity. I had unpaid work, I had paid work, I had work experience, I did producing work experience, I taught from first year all the way to my final year, I did an paid acting job, I did some unpaid acting, I did for a little bit what I did. I've done like community work. I love community work. All sorts, absolutely all sorts, and it changed my whole uni experience. I wasn't just in this bubble of uni. I wasn't like just relying on my course to be everything I wanted to learn. I got to do so much. So that is my advice: take everything. Try and get to know the people on your course. Now, this is hard. I am very introverted. You might not seem it when I'm because I'm chatting on camera, but I do this because talking in person is more difficult. I don't go to parties. It's like I'm 12. I don't I didn't go out clubbing much. I still enjoyed it when I did go, but it wasn't my scene. I'm too nervous of a person for that, I think. Just always worrying about people getting hurt and worrying about my friends I was with, and nightmare. I'm a bar crawl girly. Anyone else out there that is a bar crawl girly, let me know, because I can't be the only one. pub or a bar crawl, and I'm in. Get me home by 11:30 and I'm down. But yeah. I'll also say I never actually joined any societies. I don't fully know why. I think the societies I wanted to join, I held myself back from. I really wanted to do volleyball, but I held myself back because of my weight. Now I have no idea if that would have been a problem. I have no idea if there was any sort of discrimination. I doubt it, to be honest. I think it was just a personal, I don't want to embarrass myself situation, which it is not embarrassing. So what I am saying is, please do it. Do it because I didn't. I think all my friends that were in societies, they went on trips, they had a great time. Even if it was like now and again they went, definitely worth doing. Yeah, that's one of my big regrets with uni, is not going and joining a society. The other thing, if you can live in halls for your first year, I would. Even if you're going to a local uni, to be honest. I think it's great for independence. I think it's great for making friends, meeting people. It's also nice. It's a nice step between being out there but still being looked after. There's still security at most places. You're still in a student community. You're not out in a student house. So I'd highly recommend that. I did so much growing at Falmouth in my first year, and I was actually in a mixed halls. I had my own room, my own toilet, but I was in a mixed hall, so we had men and women on our floor, and we had a shared kitchen, and I had some really good times. Now I was the quiet one on the floor. I was probably the weirdo a little bit. I was the one that kind of kept to myself, mainly because of my introvertedness. I'd be intrigued to see what my old flatmates would say, actually, but yeah, I think I was trying to figure out what my life was without Will there. He was still there. We video called constantly. I think that was probably quite annoying, to be honest. And he visited a few times, even though he wasn't meant to stay over, so he didn't stay over, we just visited. But yeah, I was kind of quiet, but I really got on with my flatmates, actually. We had a good floor, I think. Always had our little tensions. I had a lot of tea towels go missing, like a lot. And there was some issues with tidying up, and I think that happens in pretty much every flat. But as a whole, I really did love my flat. For the type of person I am, sharing a space with strangers was always going to be difficult, but they definitely made it not as difficult, and I'm really thankful for them. So yeah, live in halls if you can. And just stay on top of things. It's really, really easy at uni to leave. It's really like to leave. It's easy to leave, but like mentally check out. It's very, very easy to get the student loan and not show up to lectures and go out at night and not come back, and it's very easy. And I have seen a lot of people fall down at that hurdle. Do not be that person. You've put so much work into uni, so much work into it. Don't let it slide away because you want to party a bit more. Don't let it slide away because you want to sleep in for an extra hour. Do it. It's 3 years of your life. I promise you it will go by quite quickly. If you're engaging, it'll fly by. My time at Derby disappeared, and I cried at the end. It was a uni experience I never thought I'd get to with my last two unis, and like, I really miss everyone. I really miss uni. I'm currently in the slump of post-graduation. I'm gonna do another video on that, but I'm missing everyone terribly. So just throw yourself in. Definitely party. Be safe, but party, because that's an experience in itself. I have been to house parties, I've been to flat parties, I've been out clubbing and things. I haven't not done it. And I would say, even if you're someone that is a bit more introverted, go with the friends you trust and just give it a try, just to see, because I had some wicked nights, even though I am more nervous going out and doing things. I also don't drink. I was completely teetotal at Falmouth because of the medication I was on, and I didn't go out at Trent, so I was like, no. But at Derby, I drank in first year and then found out I was intolerant or allergic to most alcohols, and I threw it up. So didn't drink again. I just have, I can drink cider, that is pretty much it. So yeah, I went out most times completely sober and not drinking. I was designated driver a few times. I was heard everyone home a few times, which I quite liked that role, because it made me feel better, because one of the things I worried about was my friends getting back. And I still had a great time. You're dancing, there's music, it's a crack. Getting ready together, one of my favourite things. So definitely give it a go, even if you're shy, even if you're nervous, like me, like, please give it a go. Just make sure you're with people you trust. And yeah, to be honest, that's really it. Make an effort with your lecturers as well, I would say. It's hard to do when you're on bigger courses, but especially on those smaller courses, make that effort with your lecturers, because I adore Phil and Amanda so much, and I hope to bump into them again in the future, because they're absolute angels and they're so kind and caring and funny. My lecturer Phil actually has a show on, which I will put below. I think it's just finished, but keep an eye out, it's very funny. He does comedy, he does acting still. Yeah, they're great, and they helped me through so much through these 3 years. Because it hasn't been easy, and there's so much more stuff to tell you guys, but I don't want this to drag on for too long. This is probably already about 45 minutes long, so yeah, that would be probably my top tips. I can't think of anything else right now, but if there's anything you want to know, I'm happy to do a Q&A. I'm tempted to do a live Q&A, but I don't know what my reach would be for that, so I'm not sure about that yet. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I do recommend uni overall. There's nothing like that feeling of walking across the stage with your and getting your diploma.
Emil Lampton.
That feeling, I mean, you could probably tell on my face. I was nervous, I was petrified walking across, thought I was going to trip, but there's nothing like that feeling. So my biggest advice, just go for it. If you hate it, there's no shame in leaving. And I've been there, I've done it, I've left, I've swapped courses, I've moved to one side of the country and come back home. Like, I dealt with so much guilt for so long, and do you know what, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I went and got that degree, and I'm now working as a teacher, and I'm going to do a post-grad talk with you guys at some point about the difficulties of that. But I've changed a lot, I've become more sure of myself, I've had the guts to come and do this with you guys. I've wanted to do this since I was 14, and it has taken, well, almost 10 years for me to get up the courage to come and do that, and that is because of the course I went on at Derby Uni. And this is by no means a Derby Uni ad. I just had a great time there. But I think you have to find the uni that moulds you. Don't just look at if it's top in the country, because I tried that and it was great, but if you don't personally fit in there, if there's something that's not feeling right, then it's not worth it. I can't think of a scenario where it's worth it. I think you will find your way, and you can find your way. Yes, at some unis it's going to be harder than others. if I wanted to act now, for example, Derby Uni maybe wouldn't be the top of my list for like going into straight acting. Although I've got friends that have gone off to do to drama schools to do their masters, so that they've still got that experience in a drama school. There's ways. There is so many ways. So yeah, please try and think of yourself, which you think you are, but not always. Think of your lifestyle, not just the course. And screw what everyone says to you. I know that sounds terrible, but if I had £1 for every time someone told me to just stick at it at Falmouth and then to just stick at it at Trent, I'd be a millionaire and I wouldn't have needed to be at uni. So just do what makes you happy. And I know that sounds so cliche, but it's true. Yeah, I really hope that your uni experience does go smoother. I hope that you get into your top unis, and I hope that you find your place and your people. And if you do, then well done, and I wish you the best. Please, please, please have a great time and enjoy. But if you don't, and I'm talking to those people that maybe have already started and are confused, or have already started and think that it might end up that way, don't worry. I really mean it, don't worry. You will find your place, whether that's at uni, whether that's in a job, whether that's going back and doing an apprenticeship. You will find your place. You are young, you can figure it out. So lots of love, good luck my uni people, and I'll be back for some talks soon.